Hello, hello. Welcome to the Odds on Bundesliga. We are here to analyze match day 10 with our Bundesliga expert, Radek Vegas. How are you, Radek?
Hey, Leo. Nice to have me here, and I'm looking forward to this game day. There were a lot of surprises, not only in the Bundesliga, also in the international games. So it's kind of hard to predict, but we will do our best in this video.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be with you. Radek, of course, guys, I'm also not Edu, but you will still get all tips and prediction for all 9 games this weekend in the Bundesliga. By the end of the show, you will get the Oddspedia combo, which is Radek's safe bet for this round of fixtures, and also his ACCA. Before we start, just a reminder for you guys to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell for all the latest uploads. And don't forget also to watch and give some love to the Betting Academy videos in our channel, which are also very useful learning tool. All right, Radek, here we go. Our first stop is in 𝐜𝐿𝐴𝐵𝐿 for Schalke hosting Hoffenheim. There is a clear favorite here, and rightly so, Radek. Both will be playing at the back of a defeat. Schalke got hammered 4-0 in Leverkusen, and Hoffenheim saw a point slipping away from their hands 3 minutes before the end of the match with Bremen. Schalke, as we all assumed back in August, is playing to survive this season. Up to a point, the 4-0 defeat ended up being good business, I would say, because it could have been even worse for them. And Hoffenheim, although have taken only 4 points away from home this season, I can't imagine Andre Breitenreiter, the manager, having headaches maybe preparing this game. At the time we talk, odds of 2.09 for a Hoffenheim win sounds reasonably good, Radek, or not?
Yes, I think so. It's very easy to see here who's the better team, and you have to just have a look on the standings. But that's not always the full truth in the Bundesliga. We saw Bochum beating Frankfurt last game day, which was one of the biggest surprises for a long time. And on the other hand, Bayern Munich had a lot of bad games, so it can happen a lot, and especially Schalke at home has to make some points someday. But we cannot bet on exceptions or on speculations, so we have to bet on good odds. And as you said, I think the odds on Hoffenheim are good here, 2.09, or even higher than yesterday when I was betting on a Hoffenheim win. And so I think maybe the bookmakers don't trust Hoffenheim. That's reasonably because they seem to have problems against minor teams like Schalke and away maybe somehow. But at the end, the odds are still good enough, and Hoffenheim has to win after not winning 3 games in a row. Schalke is an easy opponent, and that's why, we can bet on Hoffenheim here.
So perfect. The tips then on Hoffenheim. The next one, Radek, is in Frankfurt. Eintracht received the visits of Bayern Leverkusen. You mentioned before with the Schalke's fix that Leverkusen won in a style last weekend, a much-needed win to lift the spirits in Leverkusen and to lift themselves also out of the relegation zone. Moussa Diaby had a hand in 3 goals, with Jeremy Frimpong scoring 2, as Leverkusen began life under Xabi Alonso. Radek, we don't know yet if it's not the new coach effect that tends to revitalize an underperforming team, or if Xabi Alonso has quickly maybe found a way to turn around Leverkusen's lack this season. For Frankfurt, a nightmare of a weekend was match day 9 because they suffered that scoring blitz from Bochum. I don't know if you place that as so far as the biggest surprise of the season. Bochum beating 3-0 Eintracht Frankfurt. Bochum beating, Eintracht Frankfurt 3-0. And the bookies are placing them in almost parity in here. Do you see it that way?
Yes, totally, because the first thing came to my mind in this game is 2-2. I think both teams are able to score. both teams are able to win, and at the end, that leads to a draw in my eyes, and the result with a lot of goals here, 2-2, would be the obvious thing in my eyes. I think Leverkusen has more value here if you're not likely to bet on draws like I do. I would say because you have odds really balanced on both the sides, I see a little bit of advantage for Leverkusen, as you named the coach effect. I really don't know how Xabi Alonso is as a coach, but we all know he was one of the best players in his time, and he was leading Spain to world champion 2010 and 2 European championship titles in 2008 and 2012. And on the stage of a club player, he won the Champions League amazingly with Liverpool in 2006 after being 3-0 behind against AC Milan, one of the most insane finals, if not the most insane final in the world history of football. And so Xabi Alonso was a huge player, and he knows the German Bundesliga because he played at Bayern Munich in his last stint in soccer. And that is the hope that he reanimates Leverkusen, because I think the team is great, the players are great, but the coach was not so really great with Seoane. And I think the players played against him, obviously, because now after he has gone, they were able to score a lot of goals. The problem is Leverkusen is playing in the Champions League, but also Frankfurt is, and their results might give another hint how this game will end. Because if Leverkusen is doing a good job in the Champions League, I'm pretty sure they won't lose this game. And after all, I think Leverkusen is better with Xabi Alonso, and they have to prove that they are better than they are in the standings. And Frankfurt at the end had some disappointing results in the past, especially losing against the last one. And that's why I think the value is on Leverkusen side.
And also, for sure, there will be some money to be made for anyone going for a draw there.
Yeah,
at the time
but excuse me, what I mean with value on the Leverkusen side is betting on Asian handicap 0 here, because my favorite bet is a draw. But I would say Asian handicap 0 on Leverkusen would be a better bet than Asian handicap 0 on Frankfurt. That's why the odds on Asian handicap 0 are 1.8 on Leverkusen, and so that's value.
So that was the tips and prediction for Frankfurt Leverkusen. Our next analysis, Radek, is we have a relegation 6-pointer fixture with Stuttgart at home against Bochum. I can't imagine people maybe gathering in pubs across Europe to watch the bottom team of the Bundesliga visiting the second bottom team, but nevertheless there are things to say here. We mentioned that Bochum won 3-0 at home against Eintracht Frankfurt last weekend. It's something that I don't know how many people saw that one coming. Another thing to say in the previews that Stuttgart no longer has Radek Pellegrino Matarazzo as a manager, with 5 draws and 4 defeats. The last one against Bundesliga leaders Union Berlin. They are the only team still to register a win this season. For Stuttgart, it seems, Radek, that last season haven't finished yet, because they beat the drop on the final day, but so far nothing has changed and the struggles continue. Are you not surprised anyway with the odds in here, with the Stuttgart at 1.71 for a win and Bochum at 5.70?
Yeah, that makes not really much sense, as everything you said. And Stuttgart has no coach at the moment. They're looking for a new coach, and former World Championship coach of Germany, Joachim Löw, might be the next coach is one
Really?
rumor. But to be honest, 𝐿𝐴𝐵 was not a really good Bundesliga coach when he was coach in the 90s. At Stuttgart, he won a cup, but I don't think he will really be the coach of Stuttgart. Anyway, they are in kind of a vacuum now. And I think they don't deserve these low odds. But I think what I said in a lot of videos before, Stuttgart is a good team, but they didn't manage to collect a lot of points. They had a lot of draws in these 9 Bundesliga games so far, and they made a point against Bayern Munich with the 2-2. So the team is not bad, and Matarazzo is not bad, and this is one of the most saddest, things that they had to fire him, because he did a good job, and at the end, if you don't collect points, then they have to react, and I don't think that is getting better at Stuttgart with another coach. So. This might be one of the biggest failures of Stuttgart to fire him, because I can't see a better coach than him in Stuttgart. On the other hand, we saw a really good trainer effect at Bochum, because they sucked their coach Thomas Reis, who did a great job last season. Now the chemistry got lost. What often is the problem in the second season in the Bundesliga for some minor teams like Bochum, which was a huge surprise last year that they even could keep the class, and now they are in real trouble. And their new coach managed to win against Eintracht Frankfurt. So long story short, Stuttgart for sure is not the favorite, because they have more problems. They are in the situation of Bochum few days ago, and that's why I think the value for sure is on Bochum, and we have to watch on the Asian handicaps on Bochum here. We see around Bochum +1 with odds of 1.75. This is an option, and I'm not really sure who is the better team here. That's why we get really great odds on a draw also. 4.2 odds on draw. I see a 1-1 here.
Perfect. And also with that 1-1, anyone looking at the goals over or goals under market, goals under 2.5, they're like close to, they're hovering odds of 2 for this fixture. Now we're moving Radek onto Werder Bremen, Mainz. From teams having nightmare like Stuttgart or Bochum, actually to one living the dream, because Werder Bremen plays at home with Mainz, as I said. Bookies have Bremen Radek on 2.5 for a win, and Mainz 2.98. Bremen is 5th in the table with 15 points, won away last weekend. Only Bayern Munich, I was having a look, has scored more goals than them. And they have the Bundesliga goal scorer in Niklas Füllkrug, who has 8 goals so far. Some people are saying, Radek, that he might even make it to the World Cup. We're going to have to see for that. If I was also Mainz director, I would ask the Bundesliga, to be honest, not to play again this season, because it looks amazing, their numbers on the table. They look perfectly symmetry. 3 wins, 3 draws, and 3 defeats. But jokes aside, Werder Bremen won last match in the 87th minute of the game, and they have scored a league high of 9 goals in the final 15 minutes of their matches this season, and all of those 9 goals came after the 82nd minute of the match. Is this something that you will have in mind before placing maybe a live bet on this Werder Bremen Mainz?
Yeah, but this is past, and if it's public and in the stats, the bookies also know that and lower the odds for that.
Okay.
But that shows that Werder Bremen is very mentally strong. We all know the win against Borussia Dortmund when they scored 3 goals in the last 6 minutes around. This was just awesome, and the whole season of Werder Bremen so far is a kind of a miracle, because they came out of the second league and they are on spot 5 now. And everything you said, Niklas Füllkrug scoring 8 goals is incredible. And so, yeah, the odds on Bremen are with 2.4 or 2.5 really attractive, because everything we saw in the last games leads to another Bremen victory, because they're playing at home, they are scoring goals for fun, and that's the point when I get suspicious and I don't want to bet on Bremen as a winner, because Mainz is also not a bad team, and at the end there is no team better. They are equal, and then I bet on a draw, or I bet on Asian handicap on the underdog. And in this case, Mainz is the underdog. And I understand everyone who likes Bremen more and who is a trend better, and then he should bet on Asian handicap on Bremen, and no fault in this, because it's a coin flip in my eyes. And if you have a coin flip, the odds are 50-50 for each of the teams. I bet on the higher odds. And in this case, Mainz, Asian handicap 0 has higher odds of around 2.1.
As we talk, absolutely.
And because it's not about betting every game right. It's about getting the best odds for each situation. And at the end, it's about mathematics in thousands of games. And that's why at the end, Mainz Asian handicap 0 is a better bet in my eyes. But I understand everybody who says, but Bremen has such a good run, and in the short run, you might bet on Bremen, but that's not my strategy.
Okay, so now we move to another one that has as well, Radek, almost like a technical parity for the bookies. I'm talking about Wolfsburg at home against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Wolfsburg took a good point with the 1-1 from their visit to Augsburg, who were one of the teams in form in this Bundesliga. But I was looking at some of the stats. It took them more than half an hour to master a single effort in front of goal, and actually they scored in their first meaningful attack of the match. Gerhard scored for a second consecutive game. He has never scored 3 games in a row in a Bundesliga campaign, so we will see if he can break his own stat this weekend. On the other hand, Radek Gladbach won the derby against Cologne with more than a convincing 5-2. Is something that you expect here with both teams to score?
Yes, can be an option for sure. Wouldn't be surprising. But what I see here again, if we have balanced odds, I would bet on the better team, and Gladbach is the way better team. But how did they lose with 5 goals against them against Werder Bremen 2 games before? That's just randomly. We have to ignore this. I think we have completely ignored this loss and just focus on the other results Gladbach had in this season. Because there are sometimes unpredictable things like losing with 5 goals against Werder Bremen. But what we've seen in all recent 3 Gladbach games, they scored a lot of goals. Both teams to score is for sure a valid option. But I like more betting on Gladbach here because they won against Leipzig 3-0 and they thrashed Cologne with 5-2. And I know that they were losing against Bremen and Mainz. There are two phases of Gladbach, and at the end, they are still a really good team. And Wolfsburg is not, because Wolfsburg is struggling and is fighting for every point. And for sure, they can make a point here. That's why I don't bet on a Gladbach win. And I have to keep in mind that there can be a draw as well. But I like Asian Handicap 0 on Gladbach with 1.9 around.
Yeah.
And because I think in most of the games, the better team should win. And this is Gladbach. They have the better strikers. But Wolfsburg has a really good defense and they are very talented as well. But they're not that good in chemistry in the team. So I like the style of Gladbach more. And at the end, Gladbach has with Stindl and Hoffmann and Julian Weigl a lot of really interesting key players, and Kramer and Thuram. And there are more potential in the single players to decide a game. And that's why I hope Gladbach will get back on track and not lose again like they did against Bremen.
But I agree, and good odds there on Asian Handicap 0 for Gladbach at 1.97. So now we move on to RB Leipzig, Radek, receiving the visit of Hertha Berlin. The bookies have already decided the favorite here with Leipzig on a very low 1.46 and Hertha on 7.7. I can imagine maybe bookies are also building these odds on what happened lately between these two teams, because the last 3 matches saw Leipzig scoring 15 times and Hertha only 1. Last season, Leipzig got tennis results 6-0, 6-1, home and away against Hertha. They both draw their matches on the weekend, although there is, I will say, there is a little bit more credit to Hertha because they done it against Freiburg, second in the Bundesliga, in an entertaining 2-2, whereas Leipzig needed 𝐿𝐭𝐿 10 minutes before the end to equalize against Mainz. Radek, to go for Leipzig with such low odds does not make much money making sense, if you like. And to go for Hertha looks risky as well. So what will you be doing at this one?
Yeah, fingers away, because everything you said, never go on favorite bets. Just watch what happened in the Champions League yesterday with Manchester City at Copenhagen and a lot of other results. Juventus losing in Israel, and it's never a good idea betting on low favorite odds, because it seems that there are no favorites anymore in the world. And we've seen this in the past. And if this would have been so easy, then it would be the easiest strategy, only betting on favorites and becoming millionaire. But on the other side, there's the truth, betting on underdogs. In this case, I won't tell you that betting on Hertha is the better option, because it's not. But we have to be aware, because Hertha hasn't lost a game in 5 games now, drawing the last 4 games in Bundesliga. So not really that bad as the odds might seem. And the problem also can be that Leipzig had to play in the Champions League, which cost them some power. Very, very hard to bet here, because, of course, I would tend to say that Leipzig is winning the game, but I don't bet on these low odds. So I don't bet on the opponent if I think the one team is winning. So for me, it's a sure no bet. But the only really thing I can imagine is that both teams might score here, and the odds are really okay for this bet. If you say, I have to place my money out in this game, the best bet will be both teams to score with 1.75,
Yep.
I think. But
Yeah, it is.
even better is just not bet in this game.
Perfect. So then we can have our next fixture, which is Cologne at home against Augsburg. We mentioned before that Augsburg draw with Wolfsburg, and that came as an anticlimax because they won each of their 3 previous Bundesliga outings going into that game, including actually 3 points over Bayern Munich last month. Anyway, they could feel somehow unlucky because Augsburg had 18 shots on goal last weekend, a season record for the club. However, this is still much better than what happened with Cologne, who lost 5-2 in a derby. Radek, they both have scored only 9 times so far, an average of 1 per game. So to expect goals here is to expect too much?
No, it's for sure not a game to bet on over goals or expect both teams to score. There's an option, both teams to score. No, this can be an option here, but it's not my favorite bet here. And I have several points about that, what you said. Because Cologne has one huge problem. They are playing in the Europe League or Conference League on Thursday. That's a point that they might be tired. Second thing is that they are missing a lot of players, and their coach is not knowing how he should bring a good team on the pitch. And that's why they lost 5-2 against Gladbach. And so all in all, I think Cologne is not the favorite in this game, but they should be. And when we have a look at the results of Augsburg, they are really impressive. They beat Bayern Munich and they make a draw against Wolfsburg. Not a bad team. They won at Schalke. So, and they beat Werder Bremen at home, one of the best clubs at the moment. And so Augsburg is really kind of a insider underdog. And I don't know why they are not the favorite here. And at least everything points to a draw. Even if Cologne was in their best shape, I would say it's dangerous to bet on Cologne. And I don't think that they are really the favorite here because of the points I mentioned. And I see huge value chance on Augsburg here. And if it's a single bet, I always look for the line where both teams are around odds of 2.
Yeah.
So this is Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Augsburg. That means if Augsburg loses with 1 goal behind, we only lose the half of our bet. And if Augsburg is drawing or Augsburg is even winning the game, we win with odds of 2.0 around. That is good. And later, I can spoiler, I have another Asian handicap step further in this game for Augsburg, combining it in my ACCA even.
Perfect. So the Asian handicap plus 0.75 then for the away team. And now, Radek, we have in front for me, which is, and I guess maybe you will share the same, but the one of the most interesting games of this Matchday 10, Union Berlin, top of the table, playing Borussia Dortmund at home. For Union Berlin, Radek, was very important to win away, I would say, at Stuttgart because they suffered the first defeat on Matchday 8. So they showed that they managed to brush that off pretty quickly. And regarding Dortmund, I don't know, Radek, if they have already placed a statue of Anthony Modeste outside the Iduna Park because he came off the bench, provided a goal and an assist, including a 95th minute equalizer to win a point against Bayern Munich. I can't stop looking at the video of Oliver Kahn getting so upset after that equalizer. Dortmund clearly won 3-0 in Berlin. Can you see them doing it again here now against Union.
Yeah, of course, I hope so. And the problem is Dortmund is also very unreliable, as we've seen them losing at Sevilla in the Champions League 1-0. And pointing against Bayern Munich, was really important and good for them. But we have a kind of same situation now. We expect Dortmund to do more here, and at the end, if we ignore that Union Berlin is on a really good run and leading in the standings, then for sure we would say Borussia Dortmund has to win the game. And the good situation here is that we get really great odds for Borussia Dortmund here. The odds are 2.4 around for a Dortmund win. And I think they have to continue their good run, and they have to earn points, more importantly, because this is a kind of a 6-point game for them. If they can win against Union Berlin, they take the lead in the standings, maybe. I'm not really into the exact points, but they're 4 points behind. So even with a loss, Union Berlin will stay in front of Dortmund. But in comparison to Bayern Munich, Dortmund has to make a win here at the long run, and the chances are good because the results of Union Berlin in the last games were not that really good, and they will come down someday, and this can be the day. Dortmund has to win, Dortmund can win, Dortmund has the better team, the better players, and so at the end, Union Berlin has to play the A game 110% to win the game or not to lose the game. And so Dortmund win with 2.4 is really awesome.
Yeah, it's very tempting. And just a little correction here, Dortmund draw against Sevilla last night in the Champions League.
They didn't win the 3 points, so for me it's like a loss, and they should have won this game to advance to the
next stage. Yes, absolutely. But anyway, it doesn't change for what you've been mentioning with the result last night, and I agree. I mean, it's a good. It's very tempting. Yes, I'm looking at that Dortmund 2.4 for a win against Union Berlin. It's a good one. And now we have the last one, our last match preview, which could have also been the game of match day 10. In the Allianz Arena, Bayern Munich entertains Freiburg, second against third. The visitors, I believe, weren't very unhappy at the end to take a point from their visit to Hertha last weekend, although they couldn't rack up a 6 top-flight win there. Nevertheless, rather they are enjoying a record start to a campaign for Freiburg. No other team other than Freiburg and Werder Bremen have taken more than 11 points away from home so far this season. Will you put a little bit of money on Freiburg leaving Munich with something? Of course, Bayern Munich odds for a win are very, very low, 1.3, and Freiburg is at high 11 for a win again in the Allianz Arena.
Yes, for sure. It's also tempting that we bet on the underdog here, because we know that Bayern Munich gave away a lot of points in the Bundesliga so far. But I think it's shifted a bit, and especially against Freiburg, the last games were really clear in the last season for Bayern Munich. I think they know that Freiburg is very, very dangerous, and that's why they will be 100% focused. I hope so, and I don't think that they might lose this game, and I think that it's very attractive here because the odds on Freiburg are so high, and Freiburg is playing a good season, and I really like them, and I think they can be a danger for sure if Bayern Munich is not 100% on the field. But I think this will be the case. Bayern playing at home, and after not winning against Dortmund, you mentioned Oliver Kahn being so angry. I think Oliver Kahn might have been bitten some player after the game, like he did against 𝐿𝐭𝐿𝐴 in the 90s when he was a player. And he was so angry. So the players are really afraid that they must win against Freiburg. The only thing which can be interesting is both teams to score. That Freiburg scores in the Allianz Arena, then we see a lot of goals. Maybe it's a 3-1 for Bayern, or 4-2 or something like that. I would bet on both teams to score with 1.7. Not on a Bayern win because the odds are too low. Same situation as we have in Leipzig, and not speculating on Bayern giving away points here.
So that was both teams to score at 1.7 for that Bayern Munich Freiburg. So that was all the tips and predictions, Radek, for match day 10 in the Bundesliga. Of course, as always, before we go, the Oddspedia combo. What's your safe bet and what's your ACCA for this match day 10 in Bundesliga?
My safe bet is relying on Xabi Alonso doing a great job in Leverkusen, and Frankfurt being in a kind of crisis after losing against Bochum and playing in the Champions League. So Leverkusen is not losing against Frankfurt, and I think Leverkusen double chance has odds of 1.45 or 1.5 around. Compare odds on Oddspedia and find the best odds for this game, and then good luck.
And what's the ACCA?
The 𝐿𝐭𝐿𝐴, this game of Leverkusen combining with also another double chance on Borussia Dortmund, not losing against Union Berlin, because I think they have the chance to step up and really close the gap between Union Berlin and them. The odds are 1.4 for double chance here, draw or win for Dortmund. And the third one is maybe a bit surprising. I think Augsburg will continue their good run and not losing high against Cologne. We get odds of 1.45 for Augsburg Asian handicap plus 1.5. That means if Augsburg even loses with 1 goal behind, we are winning this bet. And that seems like a doable job, as Cologne has a lot of injuries and struggled last week against Gladbach. And at the end, this ACCA gives us odds of 3.0. And I'm confident that these bets are good. At the end, I hope we won't face so many surprises.
Amazing insight, Radek. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Radek Vegas with all the insight for match day 10 in Bundesliga. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell for all the latest upload. Bye, Radek. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
next time.